Hi and welcome back to the Formpro review of the weekend's racing. It's a good day of racing at Taranaki on Saturday. Really enjoyed the races there. Started off well with Louis Veloce winning the first race. He looked really well before the start, didn't he? Just muscled up nicely and nice and relaxed, and with those blinkers going on, made all the difference to him. He jumped out well, was a bit keen early on, but settled nicely into stride mid-race and kicked to win the turn and won easily. Those blinkers going on, I was really pleased to see, because his last two runs, even though they were very good, just seemed to be looking round quite a bit, and those blinkers just made him more focused, and he did look to win a long way out and won well. But before we go into him, we'll just touch on Ishwar's race, the big race. And I see the tempo actually set up quite nicely for them. The second was interesting actually. In Louis Veloce's race, they went out 3 lengths quicker than Ishwar's race, but you've got to allow for the distance they were out further off the rail during the race. So they're about equal, I suppose, tempo-wise. So they'd set up for off-pace runners in Ishwar's race, and he came from about third last down the outside and beat Authentic Paddy, which I thought was a very good run. I thought he was going to get up with about 20-30 metres to go, but just missed on the line, paying good money. And I think Authentic Paddy going forward to the Winter Cup, where it's going to be a heavier track and he's going to be around about 57 kgs again, he's got to be hard to beat. But for subscribers, I've got one of them just analysing at the moment that I feel is a really good chance in the Winter Cup, and I'll be posting that selection on Tuesday, probably Tuesday night or earlier for subscribers. I'll make it 5 PM on Tuesday. I'll post that selection so people can see what that horse is. I've got to check one thing with the trainer first of all before I put it up, but it's paying nice money and I think it's a good bet. What else out of that race? The Waikato Stud Taranaki Cup. Lone Ranger had his chance, 3-1 with cover, went up. I thought he was going to win about 200 metres out, but just the other two out finished him, and fought on well for third. Mighty Matt was a nice run coming from well back down the outside, and he's got to have another few wins in him over the next year or two. Nice horse, just strengthening up all the time. And Pan Dolce, I think maybe back to 1200 metres on a heavy track, it's got to be a chance. I Am Sam got hampered 250 out and battle on after that, and whether he goes down to the Winter Cup, I suppose he will. He's got to be a chance down there too, but nothing much else out of the race that we can follow. Okay, we'll go back to race 1, and the Louis Veloce, as I mentioned before, was a good strong winner, and as Rowena Smith said after the race, actually went round after the race doing another lap, so I think more ground is going to suit him nicely. Nice strong galloper, looks really good. The Graduate came home nicely, but the run of the race had to be Sarabi. Got hampered at the start and got well back, but came charging down the outside for 4th, and back in maiden class she just looks a good thing, doesn't she, back in maiden class. But there's probably going to be 3 or 4 runners out of these maiden special condition race, maiden and winning horses. Dropping back in class, they're going to be hard to beat next up, so watch out for those. Race 2, let's have a look. Miss Enders got a nice run on the rails, came through at the right time and drove through hard, won well. Forbidden just went home nicely, 2 for second, over 2,000 metres on a heavy track. She does look a one to follow. Katie McKean was a good run. I thought she worked too hard early on to get to the lead and set a reasonable tempo, and only went down the last 50 odd metres, so she's all primed to win. Really good run. Storm and Norman, same thing. I think stuck on well for 4th on a track he is probably too good for, and on a heavy track he does look one to beat. And what else? Oh, Samson was stuck 3 wide all the way, and stuck on pretty well considering. So probably 2 or 3 horses out of that race we can follow with confidence. Race 3, Stanley, they ran about 2 seconds slower in this race than the previous race, but Stanley had carried all the weight, 58 kgs, and was 3 wide all the way, so it's a pretty good run. So he's one you've, probably going to win more races, but we'll see. It's a Wonder was obviously the run of the race, got too far back. He's a sort of horse that is not fast out of the barriers, so it was never going to be suited by the on-pace bias early on. But really came home weaving a path through the middle of them, coming home for third, and you could sort of see him winning over 2,000 metres at Awapuni or Trentham in the next month or two. Runway, back in maiden class, she stuck on well for fifth. It was a good run. And the Arabian Duke, he's got to be a horse that can win a race over, say, 2,000 metres on a heavy track. He does look a horse to follow out of this race. Nothing much else out of that. Race 4, I was really keen on Mr. Callboy. I thought he was really well placed in this race to win, but when he got squeezed up at the start there and got too far back, I thought we were in trouble, but he did come home really strongly for fourth, and he's got to pick up an R65 race, maybe on a heavier track. Back at Wanganui or Awapuni, just seems that an R65 race is there for the taking for him. Ethical won well. Joking covered ground during the race, stuck on well for second, and Chopper battled on quite well for fourth. Raw Command had a fair break before that start, so there's a natural improve out of this. And Beguiling covered too much ground and weakened out, but she's just the type of horse that the right type of race next up can win at a good price. Right on to race 5. Go Thunder's race. The tempo was set up nicely for the off-pace runners, weren't they? In this race, you could see about 600 metres out, they were all sort of whacking it up in front, and Jonathan Park just bided his time in the rear, could see what was happening, picked his time to take off, and on the turn, it was all over. Won really well. Ruffer came home nicely, was held up for a few strides across the top, but would never have beaten the winner. But a good run, natural improver. That was third up, so fourth up. Should be able to find a race for him. Two by Bell stuck on pretty well, considering the tempo favoured the off-pace runners. And I think she can bounce back in the right sort of race, where she can maybe get the lead, an uncontested lead, or sit second outer and kick on them. It's like she won at Awapuni. She's really well and can win again soon. On to race 6. This is the race that annoyed me a wee bit. I was really keen on, with the improving track conditions, I was really keen on Teddy Twinkletoes. It was annoying not to be able to see the trial video before the race, and but they did show it before the race, about 5 minutes before the race, and you could see it really coming home nicely, beating Weissmuller, which won well at Te Rapa early on in the day, and so made Teddy Twinkletoes second in that trial look pretty good, didn't it, really? So, and he was paying $12 fixed odds. I know a few people got onto him with the improving track conditions, and he charged home and was held up. If he got that, see Noel Harris angled wide on the turn, looking for a gap. It wasn't there, so he cut back in and found Horse Trump about 300 metres out. He was held up, got the gap, and then just flashed late. Just got beaten by Moontide. Good effort by Moontide to hang on and win. They didn't go too hard in front, so it did suit her to sort of kick and hang on, so it was a good effort. And Jack Frost came home well down the outside. And what else in that race? So Elroy, a bit disappointing. Maybe needs a bit of a break and come back. That was a good race, but Teddy Twinkletoes, he's the horse to follow out of this race. Prefer him on a slower, better track. He can really accelerate quickly on that sort of track condition. And it's heavy, not so good, but slow and dead, ideal track conditions. It's going to be back to confidence next up or over this campaign. Race 7 we've looked at with Iamishwara. And on to the last race, a bit of a raffle race that last race, 15 horse field, R75. Let's go back and have a look. Some Ransom battled on well. I see Dylan Turner lost his whip 50 metres out. It could have made a difference. Stuck on well for second. Fancy Duress was a bit keen early and battled on well for fifth. And Vibrant Moss ran on well down the outside. And nothing much else out of that race. So a few horses to follow out of that meeting. It's always a good meeting to get some winners out of. So watch out for those over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Right, what else? Last week I interviewed a couple of jumps riders, Matt Gillies and Corey Perrott. Matt Gillies rode our sneaky bit of the day before you know it, and those of us who were on him would have seen that he almost came off. He should have came off, you would think, after jumping that fence on the turn there, but Matthew Gillies was able to hang on and get up and beat the favourite. And I asked him how he felt before and during and after that race.
Coming to the end of the race, and the horse was a little bit tired with the heavy ground, and there was better ground out. I found out afterwards when I won the race, but yeah, he took an extra half a stride. I asked him for a bit too much, I thought, and yeah, he dipped on landing, and just was lucky to stay on him. Put my arms around him and come back up, but the horse done really well and finished off the race and won.
That was a great recovery, and you're pretty impressed with the win, were you, in the end?
Yeah, very impressed. Not many horses can do that after doing what he done and to recover and to win.
Great. I think it goes on to bigger and better things. Thanks, Matt.
Right, so he looks one to follow before you know it, and probably going down to Christchurch and pick up 1 or 2 races down there, hopefully. And in the big steeplechase, Corey Parrott was one that he was when he won the big race on Rangatira, and I interviewed him after the last race.
To be fair, after the Hawke's Bay run, the run before 2 weeks ago, I was sort of a little bit worried. He sort of only went fair, so yeah, I wasn't overly confident, but I thought he'd be a good place chance at best.
Okay. And did you ride him in track work beforehand at all? Or?
No, I haven't, but I've done a lot of schooling and done a lot of work on him beforehand.
Right, yeah, you got off to a pretty good start in the race out by Claire Lead, but something happened halfway through the race. Just talk us through that. What happened there?
Yeah, he just gets really excited when he sees his fences, and just coming the second time into the double, he got in really close and hit it pretty hard, and I actually thought that was the end of our race, to be honest. It was enough to knock the stuffing out of him, but he just picked himself up and carried on.
Yeah. And with about 500 metres to go, getting onto the course proper, did you feel as though he had a chance?
Yeah, definitely.
Still hanging on.
Yeah, you're always a bit worried though coming onto the course proper because it's just so heavy coming from a better track.
Yeah.
Off the inside, to be fair, you can't really call it a heavy 11 on the inside until you get to the outside.
Coming to the last jump, how did you feel there?
Yeah, I was pretty confident. I had a quick look over my shoulder on the inside just to see where everyone was at, and I was pretty confident, and I was just hoping that I got the last fence as best as I could, because that's the main thing, when they're getting tired, you've got to jump as well as you can.
Yeah. And do you know where the horse is going on to next at all? Or?
I'd say he'll go to Pickering Hunt, and then he'll go to the Northern after that.
Right, that's terrific. Oh, well, and well, thanks very much for that, and may you have many more.
Definitely, thank you.
Quite unfortunately that he's injured himself since then, Rangatira, and won't be racing for the rest of the season. That's racing, but he's picked up a good check. And also, earlier in the day, I was videoing the Wellington hurdles, and Cody Singer was on Just Got Home, and I was right down by the winning post, and as he was coming past, you'll hear what he had to say. So just listen as he goes past the post. I actually planned to catch up with him after the race, but with things happening, I wasn't able to, and he left the course for the time I was going to interview him. But well done, Cody, and may you have many more winners. He's actually a really good rider. He's very patient and gives horses every chance, so well done, and all the best for the future for him. Right, on to this week's racing. We've got a pick six, a $500,000 pick six that we have all been looking forward to for quite a while, a terminating one. And it was this time 3 years ago that the syndicate won $250,000 amongst about 50 odd syndicate members. It was a really good weekend. I was actually up at Otaki races that day and put the bet on up there, and so it was exciting watching the racing up there and seeing how the last race panned out. So hopefully I can go the same time each year. It's been a while since we had a good chance of getting one of those, so looking forward to forming a syndicate. You can look on the website and see the link to how to enter that. You can put in $10 or as much as you'd like to. Just make sure, because there are bound to be a few more after this if it's struck, and if we miss on this Saturday, we'll be going at the ones that we feel we have a good chance of being the only sold ticket on the pool. So I'll do my homework, go through each runner and put the bet on, cross our fingers, and hopefully we can get those roughies up and be on them and have the big payout on Monday. So looking forward to that on the weekend. Right, nothing else. So hopefully you can get a few winners out of this meeting, and looking forward to the big pick 6 on Saturday, and hopefully we can back a few winners and make a few dollars. So until next time, see ya.